Right, this is only a quick 5-minute one with our new materials, the Linnea and the Materia, which are the really rough surface ones. There's a couple of issues. When it comes to fixing the Materia or the Linnea, because you have the grooves and the rivets, yeah, it's okay, so I don't need the green piece. The rivet does not fit into the groove. Okay? So if we fitted that there, that's going to sit up like that. It could go like this. It might end up like this or something. Okay? So normally, when we've done this testing with the architects, they normally prefer to see the rivet buried in this space here, in the high part. So it disappears down into the board. Okay, they can fix here, but you still got to take a little piece of the material out at each side. Sorry, you can't see this. You can still fix here, but you've got to take out a little piece of material where the rivet is at each side. And this is the most common place for fixing, which is here, which means we have to take out that space there where the rivet is going to be. Okay? Not an easy operation with current tools and stuff available in the marketplace at the moment. And how we get over that is that when you do that job, and we do see an order coming through, there is a special driller available, which I think some of the guys broke it yesterday, which actually will drill the panel, and it also mills out the high parts of the material as well, and then stops. So in the one operation you can drill the panel and mill out, you can have a look at that, and mill out this amount of material. It's fully adjustable. As the bit starts wearing down, you can adjust it to make sure you're still at the correct depth. Yeah? The other thing to be wary of is that if the architect does want the fixing in the high point, you're going to have to go to a slightly larger aluminium frame. This is what I mean with the screws, you see. When it's in here, it's kind of hidden in the high part. When they're in here in the groove part, it breaks your eye. You see, this is a rivet fixing on this job here. This is what the milling tool does for you. See the way it's milled out? The little bit at the high part between it. And it kind of hides the rivet down in along, so your eyes are not broken as much as if it was in the low parts. That's what this milling tool does for you. It actually cuts out that and allows the rivet to sit in tight to the board.
See, it's going out of registration.
Huh?
The line's going out of registration.
Actually, no. There's a 10mm gap here behind the panel.
Yeah.
So if this actually follows up, you'll find that it's almost on. It's almost on time. Yeah. It's one of the first jobs done with it. Okay. So that's the miller there. Now, when we go to the Materia is actually revolutionary in the world of fibre cement. If you're not as sad as I am and get excited when you hear these things, basically what we mean here is that this panel has a very unique finish on it. That's actually the first time it's ever been done. So for that reason, we're going to be a little bit more cautious and when we're releasing it into the market, because this thing has never been used widely and we have very little experience of it other than what we've been testing and what we've been doing over the last 3 to 4 years with it. So basically the simple thing is there's a complete new guideline available for all of these. If you do get the Materia, make sure you get a hold of the guidelines that go along with the material. The big secret here is to prevent concentrated flows of water. What happens with cement-based materials if you have highly concentrated flows of water? And what I mean by concentrated flows of water is if you have something and you have a continuous drip, 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 drip of water on the surface of it. It changes. Yeah? What happens? You can have streaking, but what's even worse than the dirty streak is, you can actually have a thing called efflorescence. Anybody know what efflorescence is? Whitening. Efflorescence is a salt that's in the cement that when the water gets into the material and then is drying out, it carries this salt to the surface. The water evaporates away And then what happens is you're left with this white salt effect on the outside of the material. Okay, it happens with clay bricks, it also happens with concrete, and it happens with fibre cement. So the materia, we would only use at 300 from the ground. Everything must be protected. Protect the top of the panels during installation. Any of you guys lay bricks, facing bricks before? Or been involved in brickwork on outside of buildings in wet climates? Yeah? No? What can happen is usually when the brickie is finished at the end of the day, he now has to come, particularly in our part of the world, he now has to come, cover it and put a plank on it to protect the top of the bricks. If he goes away for the weekend and you get showers or rain, he has a high risk of efflorescence turning up next Monday and Tuesday. So it's the same principle. Get your parapet cappings in first, so there's no flows of water running down the backs of the panel and down the cavity space. And only use open joints. No baffles at the moment. That may change by the time you get your first job here, but at the moment only open joints.